Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. The Indians beat the Yankees the other night by a score of 19-5, and immediately after the game, Aaron Boone, the manager of the Yankees, wanted MLB to start implementing the mercy rule, where if it got to 10 runs for a lead for one team or the other, the game is over. These are the same people who are talking about messing around with extra inning games where they want to put a runner at second and then try to score them and get that game over with too. The game of baseball is the perfect game. It was invented 150 years ago. It doesn't need to be changed, and certainly one of the rules that is not needed is the mercy rule, so let's forget about that and think how good comebacks are if they actually play the game. Indians did it against Seattle back in the early days of Jacobs Field. Jim Ingraham is with us. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it is a Monday night, a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into our 23rd consecutive year very soon in the next couple of weeks into 24 and exclusively seen on cleveland.com. Jim Ingraham is with us, one of the most knowledgeable baseball guys, and I suppose other stuff too.
I dabble in other sports.
Dabble in other. How does one dabble?
Well, first you get a dabbler, and then you can dabble when you have a dabbler.
Right. Is dabble a verb, I would guess, right? To dabble?
Yeah, to dabble, yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call if you'd like to get in. Lots to talk about. The Ohio State Buckeyes made their decision on their quarterback. Justin Fields was named the official starter for the Buckeyes for their game coming up in a couple of weeks. If Justin Fields wasn't the guy, that would be the surprise. I mean, he came from Georgia.
I think he became the guy when he announced his transfer from Georgia.
Right.
That kind of clinched it there. They made it official today, but right. I think everyone figured that.
By the way, I wrote something recently about Ohio State recruiting and all. The 2020 season next year, Ryan Day's first real class, because this one is mostly Urban Meyer's. He's got nobody from Cleveland. And Cleveland has been the great place for Ohio State for I don't even know how many years. Nobody at this point from Cleveland is signed on.
Well, is that the coach, or is it just a little dip in the talent level in Cleveland?
Maybe,
right now?
But I think also Ohio State has now become a national team. I mean, they've always been a popular national team, but didn't put those players on the field. Well, they're doing it right now.
Yeah, I think Meyer did a lot of that, making it a national team.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Jim Ingraham is with us. Facebook question of the day, let's take a look at it. And that is, with Justin Fields as the starting quarterback, how many games do you think Ohio State will win this season out of 12 regular season games before they get to the playoffs or the bowl games? What do you think, Jim? How many out of 12?
Well, you've got to account for the one at midseason where they play some weaker Big Ten team on the road and they lose that one.
Like Purdue last year.
Yeah. So I guess I would go, I'll go 10-2.
10-2, so that means they'll lose to some stiff team and then beat Michigan.
Or lose to Michigan.
Or lose to Michigan if they don't lose to the stiff team. All right, Glenn Berger responds. He says 11 games, still looking for a typical Ohio State season. Dennis Davis says 10 games this year, doesn't give a reason. Vashon Keith B. McLaughlin, no less than 10. You got no less than 10 names in your on this email. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, the Indians and the Yankees would have been nice if you could. This is the AP poll going into the season. Clemson, no surprise, number 1. Alabama, 2. Actually, no surprises at all. Oklahoma is 4. Ohio State is 5. LSU, Michigan, Florida, and Notre Dame, as well as Texas. So that I think it's so silly to have a preseason ranking. You put those guys up there, and it stays that way forever until somebody loses later in the season.
But if they didn't, this 20-second interlude right here wouldn't exist. So It's
that we're dabbling in. Yeah,
we're dabbling in the poll results.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's dabble into the Indians and the Yankees over the weekend.
Okay.
Start out with a big 19-5 win.
As expected.
Somehow the Indians do score a lot of runs in New Yankee Stadium. At what point do you stop calling it New Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, probably now.
Now, 10 11 years, something like that?
Yeah, I would say so. By the way, but before we start on this, when is Giovanni Urshela going to finish first or second in the MVP voting, would you say? You ever seen anything like this?
No.
I mean, a guy that was totally off the radar,
right?
And now he's hitting fourth for the Yankees and earning it.
It's one thing, it's one thing that he makes the team. They have a ton of injuries and all that stuff, but he not only makes the team, he becomes the cleanup hitter.
And the reason the Indians and I think the Blue Jays gave up on him is there was just no bat there.
Right.
And now nobody can get him out.
Right.
I mean, and
defense has always been good.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, he hits rockets everywhere now. He's hitting like.
Speaking of hitting rockets. The Indians found a player, number 11. Who's that guy?
Yeah, he finally showed up.
He did.
He did. And
Ramirez
there was no transition period.
No, he just started hitting and hasn't stopped.
Yeah. The light switch went on, and now nobody can get him out, which is just fortuitous for them because they really could use his bat, obviously, and he's making up for lost time.
Let's take a look at the stats from the weekend where the Indians started it off Friday with that big win. So each team gets a couple of wins. The Indians outscore well, those are they're not tainted numbers, but they're skewed numbers because of that one game. 48 hits to 36, batting .320 in the series, and .263 for New York. .375. The Indians hitting in runners in scoring position. .273 is the number for the Yankees, and the Indians outslugged Cleveland 11-8 in home runs.
If you look at those stats, you would think the Indians either swept it or won 3 of the 4. But,
well, as it turned out, not that they got lucky, but it's a good thing they came back and got them. 2.5 games separate the Indians and the Minnesota Twins. Let's take a look at the AL Central standings now, and that is up to date. Minnesota plays a game tonight at home against the White Sox, so you want to put a win on there automatically, or you want to wait?
Probably 3 or 4. I'm not sure how long that series is, but they'll probably win them all.
And the Indians behind 2.5 games, 74-51. Chicago, of course, not a factor at all.
You know what's going to happen? I'm thinking now is they're going to have to win almost all of those 6 games with Minnesota.
Yeah, I said 5 out of 5 and 1, but you may be right.
Minnesota's schedule is so weak.
Yeah. Well, all right, here you go, the wild card standings. You have that. The Indians still on top of that, up by a game over Tampa Bay. And Oakland a game and a half behind Tampa Bay. And Boston, who would have believed that? That probably, would you ready to knock them out and throw in the towel for them?
Who's that? Boston?
Boston.
They're teetering, especially with Chris Sale now maybe done for the year.
So what do you think happens? You think they have to win all 6, 3-3, home and away against Minnesota?
I mean, maybe I wouldn't say all 6, but 5 of the 6. Yeah. Only because they probably aren't going to lose many games other than the Cleveland series because it's all Detroit, Kansas City, and Chicago for them.
Not only that, for the Indians to win that Central, they have to reel off a whole bunch of wins. And then what you said about Minnesota, it seems to me if they win the games they're supposed to win, Minnesota could wind up with a higher seed than you would expect. I mean, they could have the first or second seed with either Houston or New York.
They'd have to move ahead of, I guess, Houston's second now, right?
Right.
But it could happen.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Brad Hand has been a problem just before the All-Star break. Here's what's happened before the All-Star break and after. 37 innings pitched, 37 1/3, and 13 since the All-Star break. Earned runs, look at that. Before, in 37 innings, he gave up only 9 runs. He's given up 8 since that time. 2.17 ERA, and look at that, 5.54. And 23 of 24 save opportunities for Hand before the break. And then he's dropped 3 of them after. So that's not good. The opponent's averaging 200 before and now 304. Is there a loss of velocity or?
Well, I think, to me, the biggest problem is he's not throwing he's not getting swings on his slider like him and Andrew Miller when he was really going good. Those lefties, they got that big slider to right-handers that goes down to their back foot, and they frequently swing and miss it. And he's not getting, Hand isn't getting it close enough into the zone to make them want to swing, and so he's falling behind in counts, and then he has to throw a fastball, and they're sitting on it.
They're sitting on it. And the other thing is, it looks to me like he's just flinging the ball. There doesn't seem, it's not a smooth delivery anymore. He's just getting it and winging it.
Well, yeah, I would imagine when you're in a rut like this, you know, he's overthinking every pitch, even to the moment he's letting go of the ball. So it all kind of feeds off itself. He just needs to get a couple good ones in a row maybe to get him out of it.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You could explore your interests and find a program at Tri-C that puts you on the path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu to find out more at Tri-C. Jim Ingraham and I come back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This segment of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations in Northeast Ohio. That, of course, West 140th in Cleveland, the old B&B Appliance in Lakeland Boulevard in Eastlake, and Freeway Drive, the new one, that's in Macedonia. Or check out everything they have at northeastfactory.com. There you like as if we don't get to see enough of Ned Yost. Isn't that every game that he's managing? Bobby Richardson, great second baseman for the Yankees. Sherman Tanks, 1947. Anthony Munoz, Morton Anderson, and Kirk Cousins, all born on the 19th.
Sherman Tanks was a fullback, wasn't he?
It's tough to bring
down.
Goal
line fullback, I think he was. I thought so.
Sherman Tanks. Who could name a guy Sherman Tanks?
Yeah, you would think his parents would have said, wait a minute.
Mr. Tanks and Mrs. Tanks, you can do better than that. Thanks a lot for all you've done for us. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right, the rehab guys getting in the news. This is disturbing as far as I'm concerned. Corey-Kluber leaves yesterday's rehab starting in Columbus due to abdominal tightness. Could be a lot of things there. It's not the arm.
It's not the arm, and to me that's the most important thing. I mean, even if he doesn't pitch, even if this causes him not to be able to come back this year, the fact that it's not the arm is very significant, because to me that would be the thing you'd worry most about.
From a baseball standpoint, though, if the Indians make it to the postseason, you'd be starting guys like Plesac and Savali.
Yeah,
I figured that was a one-game wonder. You wouldn't see him again.
You say that and we think that, but look what they've done to this point. I mean, I can't remember, maybe one by Plesac one clunker
One
by
bad
any of
on it.
those young guys.
Yeah,
I mean, they've all
what does he
pitched
have?
well.
7 decisions, I think, at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, they've all held their own in those games. So.
And teams, you could say in the beginning, well, teams haven't seen him. Well, there's stuff on them now.
Yeah,
on their
somewhat,
permanent
yeah,
record.
Yeah, but and then the other thing is Bieber is now Kluber. I mean, he's pitching that good that I don't think you could have gotten anything more out of Kluber than you're getting out of Bieber.
Okay, this one is intriguing that Carlos-Carrasco is going to pitch tonight in Akron for the Rubber Ducks. And, well, first of all, it's just great to see him out there. I don't have any idea how well he's going to do. It'll be interesting to see the reception that he gets there. But on the other hand, if he makes it back, he makes it as a guy coming out of the bullpen, right?
Yeah, which is good because they need a guy that can come in and strike some people out. I mean, you always got to have guys in your bullpen that can come in and strike people out to stop rallies in their tracks. And, you're right. We don't know where this is going to lead. But if he does get back and he is in the bullpen.
It's house money.
Yeah, it is. I mean, anything he provides is something you didn't expect.
All right, how about Bradley-Zimmer? He's making a rehab appearance tomorrow in Akron. He hasn't played since June 3rd of last year.
Yeah, and, there was a time, at least I thought, that this guy would be like an impact center fielder. He's more than one way to beat you. He's got a great arm, he's got great speed, and he can hit a home run once in a while. So, and he's a good defender. So this is it'd be nice to have him back. Not that they have a gaping hole out there because Mercado's played really well and Greg Allen's played well. But you can never have enough guys that can contribute to
It looks like to me that Mercado hit the wall for a little bit, as all rookies did, and Francona's let him sit for a couple of games.
Yeah.
That was a good tonic because he's come back and hit.
Yeah, Francona has that knack for knowing exactly when to give a guy a day or two off, and then they come back and play well. Or when he gives Ramirez a day off and Freeman hits a homer and 2 doubles. So, yeah.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Off a left-hander, no less.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing, yeah.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Yasiel Puig is kind of intriguing also, but when you look at him now, and he's playing for a contract, obviously, most people want to say sign him if you can right now, but they're going to be much more cautious. He may be the guy they need or want next year, and they may have talks with him, but you're not going to see this front office sign him now.
No, or later, in my opinion. I mean, he's the latest in the line that was Jay Bruce, Josh Donaldson, and now Puig. And, he's played well, and hopefully he'll play well the rest of the year, but I don't think they have any chance of signing him. I mean, this is his big contract.
Put a number on him. You had Brantley, you had 2 years for $16 million a year. Is Puig that kind of player, money-wise?
Probably, I would think so. I mean, Brantley's a terrific hitter, but he doesn't have the other skills, the arm or the power or the maybe the defense anymore in the outfield that Puig has. Puig does have some baggage. I mean, he's a little unpredictable in his personality.
We haven't seen that, but we've seen the highlights.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little twist of it the other night when he almost barreled over Kipnis going for that last fly ball. And then waving to the crowd or the other dugout, whatever that whole act is.
Well, he was doing that. He was running the bases first to third, and I don't know if he was waving the outfielder on to throw it or.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, it was kind of interpret on your own. But he's been a very big addition to them. I mean, it's not often you trade for a cleanup hitter in the middle of the year.
No, but now he's from Cuba, and nobody else on the Indian. Well, Otero's from Cuba also, right? Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
But there are guys that, even though he's been in the National League his entire career until now, he seems to get along very well with Ramirez and Lindor. Mm-hmm. But who doesn't get along with those guys?
Yeah. I think their best hope is he really likes the environment here. He really likes playing for Francona, and he likes the chances next year for them to be contenders. And the other thing they got to hope for is the market for those kinds of players in the last couple of years has not been as robust as it has been in other years. So maybe he doesn't get the offers that he might think.
And the owners agreement coming up next year also, which could change the view of some of these guys.
Right, yeah. And they may be reluctant to give longer-term deals because of that.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. This segment brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. With sofas and sectionals, they also have theater seating and bedroom sets and mattresses. And you know what? Nothing fancy about it. It's just a big old warehouse, and that's good for you because they pay about 1/10 the amount of the big box stores. It's just a warehouse, but it's not like the big retail stores. You're not paying for it to be fancy. When you buy from a big furniture store, you're paying for their rent, their decorations, furnishings, and on top of that, you also pay quite a bit more, but you can save 50% or more at Northeast Factory Direct with the 3 locations you see right there. And of course, you can buy at right on the web at northeastfactory.com. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Coming up on September 1st at Northfield Park, it features 8 $300,000 championship races totaling over $2.5 million in purses. Post time for live racing begins at 6 p.m. The first 1,500 through the doors beginning at 5 receive a free Mally's chocolate bar with a mystery ticket inside, and you could win cash or prizes. Enter to win the prize drawing from 6 to 10. You could win cash, Caribbean cruises, a trip to Las Vegas, or a 2019 Buick Encore, all at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We'll find out what Mike Mussina is thinking from Nature Stone when we get back, and we'll take your phone calls. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Jim, you do more than dabble in baseball, so you'll know this answer to the how come quickie. How come when a player is intentionally walked on 4 pitches, the fans of his team boo, but if the count goes to 3-2 and he walks, they cheer? Have you ever noticed that?
I have noticed that, and that's the joy of being a fan. You can be fickle,
you can do whatever you
without
want.
Explanation.
You don't want to walk on 4 pitches. You want to go 3-2 deep in the count.
Yeah. It's like you get credit for the
By
team.
the way, and I'll ask Mike Mussina in a minute, this bit about putting 4 fingers up for an intentional pass, which certainly has saved plenty of time in the baseball game.
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything about that?
What, that they put 4 fingers up?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter one way or the other as far as saving time is concerned.
Well, I'm not sure that specific thing was designed to save time. It was just designed to not worry about wild pitches or pass balls or that kind of thing.
That's the beauty of that, seeing a wild pitch.
It is,
bring it
but
in
that's
around.
baseball too.
Let's say hi to Mike Mussina. Wow, it's Nature Stone. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Les, how you doing tonight?
Good. Jim Ingraham is with us.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Good.
He dabbles in a lot of. He's an expert in baseball, but he dabbles in a lot of other sports.
Professional dabbler.
Very good.
Hey, you're the only one here between the 3 of us, Jim Ingraham, Les Levine, and Mike Mussina, who actually coached Stipe Miocic, right?
That's right. That's right. I told he. I don't know how much coaching he needed. He was a pretty well finished product by the time I got him. But yeah, he played for me for 3 years.
What kind of a player was he? I'm guessing a very strong player to start with.
Well, he should have been a pro. I mean, he could have been a pro. He was that good. He was the kind of guy. He was just the most athletic guy on the field. So he could play any position that you put him at. He threw the ball about 90 miles an hour, and he could hit the ball out of any ballpark. So if our center fielder couldn't make a game, or he was out for a game, Stipe would rotate out to center field, and he played just as well there as starter did. And but he was primarily our third baseman. Very, very good baseball player.
All right, so I can't just let this go. So he added punch to your lineup.
He added a heck of an uppercut. That's all I know. He was good. He went to that IMG baseball camp, I think, in his second year that he played for us.
Right.
And he came back from that camp, and he was just hitting bombs all over the place.
All right,
He's a really good ball player.
All right, let's talk Indians and Browns here. What are you thinking? Let's start with the Indians. They have the big game, 19-5, and then they lost 2 tough ones, and then they come back and win a third, which I thought was pretty impressive. They split that series. They would have liked to get 3 out of 4, but are you happy with the split?
I'm happy with the split in New York. I'm not happy that they lost 2 out of 3 in Boston. I think if they'd have split with New York and they would have taken 2 out of 3 from Boston, we probably wouldn't be talking about it too much right now. But 19 to 6 is a big score, but it's only one game, and I believe that was the game that the Yankees were pitching their bullpen.
Yeah, Jim, you can almost predict that was going to happen. You get that big win, and you knew the next day people are going to say, well, why didn't they save some of their runs?
Yeah, in fact, I think Jason Kipnis did say it after the game. But the one thing to keep in mind, they won the season series from New York 4-3. So
right.
You can't say that they're not beating good teams.
No, you keep hearing people say Detroit and Chicago and so on. But yeah, you're right, 4 games to 3. But Mike, you're correct. Losing those games in Cleveland, finishing with an afternoon game, tough to go 1-2 in that series at this point in the season.
Right. Yeah, you would have liked to have seen them take 2 out of 3, especially being that they were at home for that series and they went to New York, and now they've got an away series versus the Mets, who are actually playing better baseball right now. So that'll be, I don't think that'll be as easy as we think it is, because you got the Mickey Callaways there coaching, and they're a better team than they were in the first half. So. You would have liked to have seen them do that. They didn't do it. They end up being, I believe, they're what, 1.5 games back?
No, 2.5.
Of the Twins.
2.5.
2.5 games.
Yeah.
So they've cut into that lead substantially, and they're going to go down the stretch now, and they're going to have to just keep winning, and they're going to hope that Minnesota goes into a little slump like they did, to get back into the race.
Jim, what about Phil Reagan, at the age of 82, has come on as the pitching coach for the Mets? How does that happen?
I want to know what the record is between pitching coach stints, because for him it's got to be close to 20 years. I mean,
probably last coach in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, he was here, and Mike Hargrove's pitching coach for a year or two in the early 90s, I think.
And how about, and also in the NL East, you got Charlie Manuel back as.
And how about how they scored like 10 runs in the first 3 innings? He was the pitching coach. So, yeah, that was pretty good, too.
I think the best line with Charlie is when he was in Philadelphia and they won the World Series. And you got the interview room, and Hoynesy comes in and says, Hoynesy, when you get back to Cleveland, let them know I won a World Series. as if the Cleveland people didn't know that. So, all right, what do you make of the Browns? Obviously, just going with kid quarterbacks, looking to see if there's going to be a backup. My guess is one of them will be a third quarterback and won't even be active, but it was semi-impressive. You don't know who they were playing, first, 1s, 2s, or 3s, but I thought they looked pretty accomplished.
I think on these kinds of games, to me, you're not looking at the team as much as you're looking at individuals and who did well, who didn't do well. How does that weed out the roster selection process? And that's about it.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, do you know any kickers out there you can find to call them up and see if...
They both missed an extra point, I think, didn't they?
Yeah. I had a How Come Quickie the other night that how come it's so hard to find a kicker on Lou Groza Boulevard?
Yeah. A kicker and a right guard, right? Those are 2 positions that they can't seem to find anybody. They're going through them like water.
Yeah, most guys like us.
You would figure the house that Lou built there'd be somebody that can get it through the upright.
All right, I'll be honest with you, Mike. I don't know how you and Jim do this, but I don't look at the right tackle or the right guard or the left tackle. Do you? You guys? And if you, what are you seeing?
I mean, I look at tackles occasionally because they're on the end of the line. You can see them. Guards are the most anonymous players in all
hidden.
of sports. Yeah,
they're hidden. So, all right, Mike, we're 2 games left in the exhibition season, and so far nobody of any consequence has gotten hurt. Do you think how different will the roster be on opening day than it is right now? In other words, is it possible they add 5 people off the waiver wire when that happens, and 5 guys who've been out in camp won't be there to enjoy whatever is going to happen this year?
I don't see it. I mean, their roster's pretty loaded. You know, I mean, they obviously their backups played pretty much the entire game in game 2, and played pretty darn well. And those were the backups, and then the backups to the backups to the backups. They just kept coming in there. So I don't see too many significant moves to me. Just in watching them, and I did watch the whole game. Primarily because I knew I was going to get asked the question. Normally I wouldn't watch these preseason games, but knowing that you're going to ask me about it, I did watch it, and I mean I don't see where there's any positions that they're going to upgrade. They grabbed that tight end from the Cowboys, already, and assuming that he sticks, and you got Njoku, that's going to be your tight end room with your fullback there. And like I said, the only position that they seem to need anybody is that right guard position. But they have them on the roster. I think they're just trying to find the right one.
Yeah, and they saved some money on.
They've got the talent there.
They saved some money on Duke Johnson because they have a D Johnson now, so the uniform won't cost them anymore. Dearness Johnson.
That kid looks good though, doesn't he? I mean, he runs downhill. He's big.
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
fast.
You don't know who you're facing, so it's hard to tell.
True. Yeah, absolutely. But looks good, and Gilbert looks good too. I was reading an article that Garrett Gilbert and Baker are from the same high school.
Right.
And in the article, it made mention to, Gilbert was the prototypical quarterback at 6'4", 200 and some pounds as whatever he was, a sophomore in high school. And they kind of referred to Baker-Mayfield as a runt. They said he was 5'4" in middle school. I said, wait a minute. My son's the biggest kid in his class, and he's 5'3". I said, how could you be a runt if you were 5'4"? But I guess compared to Gilbert, he was probably a lot smaller. But he grew up a little bit.
One of Jim's favorite lines from Freddie-Kitchens came when they were talking about the nervousness of the kickers.
Oh yeah, today he said. He goes, I don't know if they're nervous, but because I'm there, but I'm gonna be at the games.
Right.
So that's
that will not change.
He has almost one every day or every week.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us. Great to talk to you as always, and we will talk to you soon. But first, we, of course, have to say, wow, it's Nature Stone.
Hey, wow, it's Nature Stone. And go Stipe, man. Way to get the belt back.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. Great to talk to you as always. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. The Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame will open its doors coming up real soon, about a month away, September 18th at Landerhaven. Otis Chapman from racquetball, John Malloy hockey, Tony Miller, 2 sports, Tom Lucci, tennis, or a good mix there. Urban Meyer, of course, football, and Rob Moss from golf. Tickets available at 216-241-1919 or go to admin.clevelandsportshall.com for more ticket information, and you can see how you can nominate some people to be members of the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame. The voicemail of Truth and Reason is a number you can call if we're not on the air, and when we do it from 6 to 7 live, you've got other things going on. 216-200-6650, 216-200-6650. Call anytime and leave a message for More Sports and Les-levine. Coming up, Baker Mayfield didn't play. He was, of course, in Indianapolis with the rest of the team. We'll check out that and more when we get back. Jim Ingraham with us. Thanks to Mike Mussina. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to OhioLottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at 440-449-HEAT.
Well, I think hopefully they've been treating it like that because, you know, this is the only industry in the world that you hire 90 guys to fire half of them. And, you know, everybody's fighting for a job right now. That's what they're doing. That's what I told them at the beginning. And I'm not talking about just the kickers. I'm talking about everyone. You know, you're fighting for a job. And as we go along this thing, we'll start building a team. And at the end of all of it, we'll have a team. But not until then. You've got a bunch of individuals trying to get a job.
Do you or Prefer think Seibert is rattled in any way, or is it mental with him?
Yeah, I don't, you know, I don't know. It's, you know, he's got to get it figured out. And if I make him nervous, then I plan on being at the game. So, you know, I don't know.
So, when they go 4 for 6 in the kicking part, that's not good enough in your eyes, is it?
Like I said, I want the ball to go through and not outside those yellow poles. Then,
I assume there's no caveat for 50 plus or anything.
no. I mean, as long as they can get it there, as long as it wasn't short, I'm fine. I think both of them have plenty of leg. So, I mean, when we send a field goal team out there, I don't want to send a field goal team out there thinking, well, maybe we'll make it, you know? I want to know that we're going to make it. You know, Coach Stallings, I'll tell you a story. Coach Stallings used to tell me all the time, when I step up into the pocket and I throw the ball, he wants to be able to close his eyes and know that it's made, that it's completed. That's what I want. I want to be able to send them out there, turn around and go talk to the offense and hear about the score.
Has there been a competitive problem in the missed kicks, or is it like a different issue?
I think it's an individual basis. You know, everything they do is just like any other position. It goes down to technique and having the confidence to go do it. But sometimes to get that confidence, you've got to do it correctly. You've got to do it with success. And I can't kick it for them. So I can't tackle for anybody. So that's just not the only spot now, the only position. I can't kick it for them. I can't tackle for them. I can't pass protect. I can't throw it for them. I can't catch it. They've got to do that. The only thing we're going to do is put them in position. This game is about players. It's always been about players and always will be about players. Coaches like to make themselves feel important by making them about them sometimes. Some coaches make it about them. This is about the player and putting the player in the best situation to succeed. Now, if it was too long, we just need to know if it was too long, you know? And then, again, that goes back to what I said originally. I just want to know what I'm getting when they go out there. I want to know what I'm getting on kickoff coverage. I want to know what I'm getting on punt return. I want to know what I'm getting on offense. I want to know what I'm getting on defense. I just want to know, and then we can plan accordingly. That's it.
Well, there you have Freddie-Kitchens. There's knowledge there. He says it a little different than most coaches, but you know what he's saying.
The thing I like about him is he's totally genuine. You can tell the way he speaks. Right. He's not trying to impress anybody. No. He's not trying to be something he's not. He's just being himself, and he's like totally down to earth. And it's almost like a fan is now the coach of the Browns.
Right.
And I
he
mean
won
that
a contest.
In a good way. Yeah.
He won a contest.
Yeah. I mean, he's just such a natural human being that it's so refreshing. Every time you hear him talk, you hear something that's memorable.
This segment of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations in Northeast Ohio. You'll find them at West 140th Street, Lakeland Boulevard, and of course Northeast Factory Direct now on Freeway Drive. That's in Macedonia. I had a chance to talk to him one-on-one for the first time the other day, and I just walked away thinking, you know, I don't know if this guy can coach, but I can see that guys would like playing for him, and he gets it. I mean, that's a phrase that sort of is a Cleveland-ism, but he does get it, and he plays to it.
I thought the best example of how players want to play for him is when he became the offensive coordinator last year, and it was like night and day between what we saw prior to that and what we saw after it. And you can tell just by his personality that he's an appealing kind of a guy that doesn't put himself above his players, and those kind of guys tend to be successful.
But he hasn't won or lost a game, so you don't know how
we'll
be watching to see how he responds.
Yeah, I mean, we will. I would venture to say he'll still be the same guy. There may be a little bigger edge to him after losses, but that's fine.
Well, that early schedule is tough.
Yeah, it is. But, you know, so are the Browns. They would
when did we ever say that?
Yeah, that's right.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I think everyone's just anxious to get it started. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like the team, 90% of the team has been picked, and they've still got 2 practice games to go.
It went fast from the end of the season to the hiring of the coach to the draft to all those other things, the OTAs, and now the exhibition games. But it seems to slow down. I mean, it was really quick early on, and then the next thing you're looking at your watch and saying, when are they going to play football games?
Well, it's funny, when you got a bad team, the regular season gets here too fast.
Right.
And when you got a good one, it seems like it's never getting closer.
Well, the other thing is we didn't have to worry about the draft, which was so big before because it was always about the quarterback. So that's one thing. You didn't have to worry about a lot of things that just took care of itself. And now it's, let's go play some football games.
And then getting Beckham was that was a big milestone moment to try to accelerate the excitement for the coming season.
Right. Hey, at Northeast Factory Direct, the same stuff, if not nicer, than you're going to find at a big, expensive retail store. Alex, the owner, he could charge you more, or the same as the big stores, but he passes the savings on and the volume to you. And he's warehouse rent about 1/10 of what the big box stores are. And he buys in volume, and he cuts out all the expensive overhead, and he passes the savings on to you. I'm telling you, Northeast Factory Direct is not a fancy place at all. It's a warehouse. It's not set up like a big retail store, but you're not paying for the fancy at Northeast Factory Direct with 3 great locations: West 140th in Cleveland, B&B Appliance Building in Lakeland Boulevard, and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Sokolowski's University Inn, they've been in that same location since 1923. Mike and Bernie and Mary Lou's grandparents started the whole thing off. They are Cleveland's oldest family-owned and operated restaurant, and the only winner in the history of Cleveland to get the James Beard Foundation Award, which they got 3 or 4 years ago. Congratulations to them. That is a great lifetime achievement. We'll take a break. By the way, they're open Monday through Friday from 11 to 3, and then Friday and Saturday starting at 4 in the afternoon for dinner. We're going to come back. Damarious-Randall did some stuff that you're going to enjoy. That came at camp in Berea. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
Last week or a couple days ago that he doesn't think that teams are going to score many points on you guys. What are your thoughts on that?
What was the question again?
What'd you do to your hair? That's the question.
He
Got
said,
dropped in the flood deal.
Odell said that he doesn't think that many teams are going to score many points on you guys.
Well, I mean, we definitely got the talent to shut out a lot of opponents, to not give up a lot of points. I mean, this defense is definitely talented. We just got to keep working together and just keep filling in the little holes that we got each and every day to just keep communicating more. And I feel like if we on the same page, I mean, we're going to be one of those unstoppable forces up on the defensive side of the ball.
With you guys going ones versus ones all summer long, really, when you're looking across there, what are you thinking when you've got Baker, Odell, Jarvis? I mean, what is this offense capable of this year?
Well, one of the best offenses in the league versus one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, every day we just competing and just making each other better.
Do you feel like when you guys played, practiced against the Colts, did it show that you guys were, one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses in the NFL?
I really ain't catch the offensive stuff because they was on the other field. But, I mean, I felt like we came and put it to them defensively. I mean, we started a little slow on the first day, but once we got our feet under us and once we started dictating the tempo, I mean, we definitely took over the practice.
Can you tell us why your hair is blue?
I lost a bet in the finals, Warriors versus the Raptors. I lost a bet, and this is my due diligence for the bet.
All right, so it looks like he has Yasiel Puig's hair right now.
Yeah, that's the thing, I guess, now. Or did he say he lost a bet? Is that why?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did. He should have made it orange and brown, though.
Yeah, at least Puig has an Indian's color in his hair.
One of them anyway.
Yeah.
All right, did you see USA Today?
I did today, yes.
Today, USA Today, put the best numbers in the NFL of all time.
Oh, that
uniform numbers?
Okay, I saw a different story, but go ahead.
Okay, all right, so greatest player by uniform number according to USA Today. Here you have number 14, Don Hudson, who scored six touchdowns in a game for the Packers. And the runner-ups, Otto Graham and Dan Fouts. I think with Otto Graham, his career started about 10 years too early.
Yeah, people don't know enough about him or realize what he did. I mean,
I hear people say, well, he couldn't play today because of his size. That's not the issue. The issue is he dominated the game that he did play.
Yeah, and he won the championship virtually every year he played.
Right.
So, I mean, how much better can you be?
All right, speaking of how much better can anybody be than Jim Brown, this is number 32. You got Jim Brown as the top player, runners-up in no particular order, by the way. Marcus Allen, Franco Harris, and O.J. Simpson. You want to argue with that group? Well, one I wouldn't argue with, but
no, I that's all. Yeah,
you okay with that?
32's big in other sports too.
Yeah, Sandy Koufax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and who else? Well, Elston Howard, but yeah, 32 is
Jackie
big.
Robinson.
Who?
Jackie Robinson. Or no,
that's 42.
42. Yeah.
All right, 42 in football. Let's take a look at that. Ronnie Lott, Sid Luckman, the great quarterback for the Bears, Charlie Taylor, and my choice would have been Paul Warfield.
Yeah, although we're a little prejudiced, I guess. But
no, we're a lot prejudiced.
No, they're all Hall of Famers.
They're all great names out there. John Riggins, number 44. You remember him from the Super Bowl for the Redskins. Leroy Kelly and Dick LeBeau out of Ohio State, who coached in the NFL for about 112 years, I think.
I remember when he took over for Jim Brown and everybody said, who's this guy?
Yeah, right.
And he turned out to be almost as good as Jim Brown.
He was for those who saw the movie Fortune Cookie, they used tape of him or film of him running in games and they transferred it to the great Jack Lemmon
Because
and Walter
originally
Matthau.
he started returning punts, I think is what
That's
he did
correct.
first. Yeah.
And here you go with number 49, Bobby Mitchell, who was traded for Ernie Davis. Paul Brown didn't know anything about it. Art Modell just went out and traded him. But Bobby Mitchell, number 1 there. Dennis Smith of the Broncos is second on that list of number 49. Then you have number 73. No, it's not Doug Deacon. It's John Hanna of the Patriots, Larry Allen. Joe Thomas was picked in that group also.
Yeah, that's a good group.
Good group, no question. Let's go to number 76. Back in those days before Lou Groza got number 76, it was handled by Marion Motley out of, where was he from, Massillon or Canton?
Yeah, Massillon maybe.
Massillon. What a great runner. Go Google him sometime and see some of the runs he made, just shedding tacklers all over the place. And Orlando Pace made it as a runner-up. Here's number 82, Raymond Berry, who caught Johnny Unitas' passes, and of course Ozzie Newsome gets up there also.
I mean, it's amazing how many times the Browns show up in this kind of a list. You know.
Well, again, you always hear about the Browns being one of the great franchises. If you're under 40, you don't know those names,
right?
Or if you don't do the history.
Yeah,
on
I mean,
the whole
they were the Patriots of the 50s and early 60s.
Absolutely. 216-575-0403 if you want to get in with Jim Ingram. Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw will be here. Anthony Lima on Wednesday. Dennis Maniloff on Thursday. Northfield Park coming up on September the 1st. That's a Sunday at 6 p.m. You've got the Ohio Super Night featuring 8 $300,000 championship races totaling over $2.5 million in purses. Post time for the live racing begins at 6 p.m. Enter to win cash drawings from 6 until 10. You could win some cash. Caribbean Cruises, a trip to Las Vegas, or a 2019 Buick Encore. And all night long, food trucks, the Barrio, Smash Time, and Cooked Kettle. Popcorn all on site from 6 to 9 p.m. with live music by Rick and Sharona from 5:30 until 8:30. It's at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We'll come back one more time with Jim Ingram. We'll take a look at some How Come Quickies. We'll take your calls if you want to get in. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of August and save up to 50%. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Bud Shaw, WKYC.com, joins us. You see us from 6 until 7 live, Monday through Friday. And, of course, you can archive it and check out any past show through cleveland.com. You can also follow us on facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. Let's take a look at this date in sports history. Bill Vex in 1951 sends 3'7" Eddie Gaedel into pinch hit in the second game of a doubleheader for the then St. Louis Browns. His number was 1/8.
I heard he was a one-tool player. He was 3'7".
He could walk.
His one tool was his height.
Can you imagine that? You're at a game, doubleheader in St. Louis, and now batting Eddie Gaedel. What?
When he comes out, he was, I presume, in the odd deck circle.
Maybe.
That probably created a ruckus right there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I forget the pitcher's name. Bob was his name.
Bobo Newsom?
No, Bob Kane. Bob Kane was the pitcher, and he lived in Euclid, and I had a chance to interview him What a great story that was. The pitcher to Eddie Gaedel. Let's check out this date in Les-Levine history. After hearing about Eddie Gaedel, Les's manager sends in a 3'7" pinch hitter up to bat. They complained that he was too big to play in their league. Kind of the role reversal.
Yeah. Probably confused the pitcher.
Let's check out some quickies that have come in. Big Ed has a couple. He says, one I can't use, and he knows it. He even prefaced it, Jim, by saying, I know you probably can't use it. I should have stopped right there.
Well, it's good he self-edits his
Well, it's good, and more sports and less Levine after dark, we could certainly do that, no question about it. How come they call it the Department of Interior when they are in charge of everything outdoors? They got the national parks?
Is there a Department of the Exterior?
I don't know that answer. How come a vampire's hair is so neat if they can't see their reflections? I mean, you go in front of the mirror and you can't see it.
Yeah, maybe that's our problem.
Mr. Gullible is at the Columbus Clippers game tonight, and he sends
You bought that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, he just went on a tour of ballparks in the West, and I think
he's
he
Mr.
said
Gullible.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
On his trips, he was talking. There was Gullible's travels. How come the first time I used a universal remote, I said, "This changes everything"?
Literally.
Literally. So you must have seen the next one. How come it's hard to talk to kleptomaniacs because they always take things literally?
Among other things that they take.
They take everything. John Patrick. Jim, you'll know this. How come when two planes almost collide, it's not called a near hit?
Well, that's like, why is it called a foul pole?
Not the fair pole.
Yeah, it's a fair pole.
You're absolutely right. Let's go to the phones. Standing by, BP and Pepper Pike. Hello, BP.
Hey, Les and Jim, how you guys doing?
We're doing well. How are you?
Very good. There's some good quickies there. It was funny.
Thank you.
Good
well,
stuff.
I can't thank you, but the ones who send them in can thank you.
Yeah, unless you write them under your own, like a pseudonym or something.
I could do that. I won't, but I could do that.
Oh, cool. Well, now I wanted to call because I usually don't have a baseball take, but, I feel like this Indian season has been really an interesting one. And unfortunately, through all this, turmoil, whatever, we're still 2.5 games back, even though it feels like a winning season. It is a winning season. We're on track to win 95 games. But I was going to ask, you guys are the baseball experts. So let's say we do, unfortunately, make it to the wild card. Let's say we win that wild card game. So who would we play then in the opening round? Would it be the team with the best record in the AL?
Team with the best record in the American League.
So we play the Yankees?
At this point, and I'll tell you what, Houston scares me more than the Yankees do, but that's just me. Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, Houston's a more complete team than the Yankees for sure. Yankees rotation is not very good at all, but if you don't got the lead by the end of the 5th inning, you're in trouble because their bullpen is loaded.
But Houston's starting pitching is phenomenal, and it got even better when they added Greinke to it.
And their lineup is great.
And the lineup is great top to bottom.
Yeah, it's just, every time I see that Chapman come out for the Yankees, I just quiver, and I'm not even on the field. But,
he's only 31. It seems like he's been around forever.
I was thinking also, the Yankees traded him to the Cubs. It was just our luck, Like, why
yeah, they borrowed him
because they signed him a couple months later.
Yeah, but they gave us Andrew Miller, or we got Andrew Miller from them also. Can you imagine that, Andrew Miller at his peak, and
they also have that other guy, Betances was good or is good.
Yeah.
But I just
no, but Chapman and
everybody's talking about the Browns, but the Browns are going to play a meaningful game for about 3 weeks. So I'd rather talk about the Indians at this point.
Well, listen, I've been doing this so long that it's 24/7. People will talk Browns in February, March, April, or whatever. That's just the way it goes around here. And hopefully people aren't disappointed, because if this team, Jim, if the first 6 games, if they're 3-3, you got to be careful talking to people here, I would think.
Yeah, I think every loss is going to be this traumatic, unexpected event that might have to have some counselors standing by.
You're hearing fans, and BP, I think you'll agree with this, most fans think it's 9 or 10 or even 11 wins. That means you've got 5 or 6 losses in there. So we haven't looked forward to games like this since the Bernie Kosar years?
Let's just be straight, since Bernie Kosar,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. even when the Browns made the playoffs in 2002, it was with Kelly Holcomb, and it was,
Right, you were happy to be there, but you knew they couldn't win. Although Northcutt dropped a pass that would have won the game, but that's a different story.
I just want to say that.
But it doesn't bother me.
The Browns season is going to be amazing. I've got very high hopes for the season, but there's a lot of also question marks, a lot of variables, like the fact that your head coach is 0-0.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. All right, BP, great to talk to you as always. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great night.
All right, Jim, great job. You got any final comments? I don't mean final, but for tonight, final comments?
No, not really. I think everyone's waiting to hear what the deal is on Kluber, what the injury is, and how serious it is. But again, I'll say it again. The fact that it's not his arm is really important.
Right. One of the enjoyable things is leaving the studio and listening to a game. I don't get to do that tonight.
Yeah, rare. How about they're spending a week in New York? I'd like to pay that
that cab fare.
That bill for the whole ball
Did they stay
club.
in the same
hotel? Yeah.
Same hotel for both series?
Yes. Which reminds me, one time we were in the lobby of the hotel, and Sheldon Oker and I were in the lobby, and Mark Lewis came down his rookie year, and he asked us, he was going to take a cab to the ballpark to play the Yankees, and he asked us, what's the name of that ballpark where the Yankees play?
Chris Spiro had a nice major league career, shortstop with the Giants. So he comes up at the same time Steve Stone did with the Giants, and they had a doubleheader, and Spire says, which one is the 7-inning game? Because in the minors, that's what they did. Sometimes it was the first game, sometimes the second. I got to go. Thanks to Jim Ingraham, as always, to Mike Mussina and BP of Pepper Pike. We'll see you tomorrow with Bud Shaw. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.